Well, I think we're live, so let's hope we've got some people that want to come check out the old Tractor Talk. But before, I don't see anybody signed in yet, so for those that can catch up and play it back, I wanted to talk about some things that are going on with the H project. It's with everything that's going on with the coronavirus and all these shutdowns, the H project is kind of it is what it is. Everything's at Sandblast right now, and I'm not sure if Bill over at A Blast has shut his shop down for this, seeing as it's his shop. I mean, I don't know. So everything that's at Sandblast, we can't do anything about right now. And then the radiator that was supposed to go to Glenn at Hermantown Radiator, where Squatch brings his radiators, he had to shut down a lot of his workings, and he actually had to lay off his son as well through this whole thing. So the radiator's on hold for now. But I don't know. I haven't gotten the hydraulic pump together yet because I ordered a quart of Gliptol, which is a kind of a cast iron coating. It coats porous surfaces and prevents oil absorption into the porous into the cast, basically the cast iron. And if you go check out Squatch's channel, he coated all the internals of X231, the prototype Minneapolis Moline project that he's got work in his shop right now. So it's the same stuff. You basically coat the entire inside of like the transmission case, the clutch housing, any areas inside the hydraulic pump that aren't machine surfaces, stuff like that. So I'm waiting on that Gliptol to arrive, and I'm not sure how the shipping has been affected by all of this coronavirus stuff. So we're kind of at a standstill until we hear, you know, either that the sandblasting is done and it's ready to go to primer, or we are getting the Gliptol. So that's really all I can do at this point. The only other thing that I could do would be to get the counter shaft and gears switched out and ready to reinstall, but that's about it. I see we've got a few people chiming in here. We've got Patch Avon Farms, what's going on? 49 GMC, what's up? Begin living like a boss, how you doing? Uh, Hopefully the shipping isn't affected. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I ordered a couple things from Steiner last week and they came right away, but that was kind of before this whole thing started. So we'll see what happens with the shipping on everything. But what's going on in the world out there? How's everybody's tractor projects coming along? Is this thing working? Says it is. Yeah, we got toilet paper. That I don't really understand that whole deal. The toilet paper thing is crazy. Dalen's got a hydraulic problem on Farmall, or no, it ain't snowing here. It's probably about 43 degrees here. I just looked half an hour ago, so I'm actually in the garage, and it's not that cold in here. So it did snow last night into this morning, though. What's going on with the hydraulics, Dalen? Are they not holding pressure? little scenery in the back there for you. A lot of times with the pressure on those, what can happen is, since I've got a lift all right here, what can happen with those is these little check valves inside the pump, they can get surface rust on them, and that can cause them not to seal right on the seat. It's basically like a valve seat that's inside that pump that these seal against, and these check valves or these steel balls, they can get corrosion and rust on them, and that causes them to have a leak, and they don't typically hold pressure really well. So that's one thing that can cause it. Another thing can be those broken springs that are behind these check balls. So a couple things to look at there. 26 degrees in Grand Marais. Yeah, I have a friend that was just up in Ely, not just over this weekend here, and it looks like you guys got a lot of snow still up there. Got the John Deere 1010 started today. Lost the throttle shaft under the snow. Yeah, I can imagine. I was all back clearing some brush today. I'm trying to clear that brush farther and farther out into the swamp. If a lot of you guys have watched some of those videos when we first moved into the house here, I cleared a lot of brush and I made a kind of a nature walk with pallets through the swamp. And I was out there and I got real lucky. I took a chainsaw to the knee, but it only gave me just a tiny cut. So I should probably invest in some chaps at some point here. Yeah, I would drop the hydraulics and pull them apart and make sure and inspect those check valves and those springs. And sometimes the the relief valve has a spring and a ball in it as well. Let's see if I can find it here. So your relief valve has this little number here, and it's got a check ball with a spring. So sometimes that spring can get weak, or check these areas for corrosion as well in that lift-all pump. So it shouldn't really, a broken spring would affect it, but everything else should work okay. But again, check everything for corrosion. So that's the biggest thing, corrosion and pitting. Brent, you got about 2 feet still? Yeah, we don't have anything left except for piles around here. So, Craig, welcome. Good to see you. Glad you can make it. Let's see, 50 degrees in Arkansas. Well, that ain't too much warmer than here. It's about 43 degrees here right now. So, Robert, hey, welcome. Northeast Ohio, welcome. You're not too far from Craig. What are my general thoughts of removing rust to prep for painting using phosphoric acid rather than sandblasting? I've never done it. I've heard that it does a real good job of removing rust and stuff like that, but you do have to be careful with non-steel surfaces. From what I understand, it can eat away like aluminum, stuff like that. So you got to be careful with that. But as far as cast iron, I don't know. I've never done it, but my best advice would be to Google it, check out what others have done with it, and see, you know, see what you got. Plumbed in a new aftermarket hydraulic pump today. Yeah, I can. Hard to test hydraulics at full throttle. Yeah, I would imagine that it raises up fast. And down probably if it's a two-way system. On a 1010, it should be a two-way. Let's see. M is still in the shop rewiring it. Yeah, wiring is a tedious process. Why don't I use the electric starter on my Minneapolis Moline? Well, I'll tell you two things about that Minneapolis. First thing is the tank needs to be taken off and cleaned out and sealed because I keep having issues with sediment getting in there into the sediment bowl inlet inside the tank. And there's a baffle in there and I can't get everything out from the other side of that baffle. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to try to flush everything out of there before I seal it. So that's one issue. And the other issue is I've never tried the starter on it. It cranked over so easily most of the time, anywhere from 1 to 3 cranks and it was running with the hand crank. So I just never tried the starter. I don't even know if it works. I'm sure it does. Still haven't went to Richards to pick up the engine for the Massey yet. Well, you'll get there. I'm sure, it ain't going nowhere. So what do I need for H parts yet? Well, I should get a fuel tank sealer kit for it. I was looking at getting a new fuel line. The original one is still okay. It's not cracked or anything, but I thought I could get a new steel fuel line from Steiner for it. What else? Body filler. I'm gonna need body filler, paint, primer, sandpaper. Different grits of sandpaper for sanding the body filler. But that's all just tedious stuff. I've got about $200 worth of gift cards I'm going to use for nuts and bolts because I want to replace a lot of the fasteners with nice new nuts and bolts. So I'm going to take care of that with my gift cards that I got for Christmas. So Jason, what's up? Literally got his MAVs back together. Great to see you. Great to see you, man. Great to see you. Thanks for coming, or I guess stopping into the chat. I guess you're not here, but you're in the chat. So still like to build the flag mount for you. Yeah, I'm still thinking on how I want to do that because this flag that I got for display, I thought it was going to be two-sided, but it's only one-sided, so it's going to have to hang, vertically like this so that people can see the front side of it. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to do that. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to hang vertically like that. I could pin it like a normal flag. I don't know, it's only one-sided, but as it's waving, people will be able to see it anyways, whether it's one-sided or two-sided. So Dennis just removed the radiator from his 39F14. It's original, very heavy duty. Gonna take it to the local radiator shop for checkout. Anything else you should ask him to do? Just pressure test it, look for leaks. All the normal stuff a radiator shop would do. Have them straighten any bent or broken fins. Yeah, Broken Wrench, he says he uses USC all metal body filler. It's an aluminum based product. It's a little harder to work with, but it's better than Bondo or fiberglass. We usually use, I think it's called Everglass is the brand. And there's another product we mix into it. Domino taught me this trick. He calls it slime, but it's a finer body filler that is a little bit easier to work with than just straight Everclear body filler. Helps it with sanding, and it's easier to sand and stuff like that. But we've had really good luck with it. I used it on the Case SC, and it's been holding real great for, geez, that thing's been done for 12 years now. So Jason ordered a new brake shaft, and it came as the wrong part in the packaging. Is this the cross shaft that goes through the transmission that the brake pedals ride on that you're talking about? Brent wants to know what I'm using for paint. I'm probably going to use the same paint I used on the Case because it's held up really well. It holds its shine well. It's durable. It's a PPG single stage urethane paint. I think it's their Omni. I got some up there. I can't really get to it right now. It's behind a bunch of stuff. But I think it's the MTK Omni or something like that. That's what I plan on using. So the rims, oh, that's the other thing. The rims, I got a hold of the guy at Powder Coat, and he said they were going to be done last week. But now with all this shutdown stuff, I don't know when the rims are going to be done either. So yeah, Jason, that's a good tip for Dennis. Putting a new core in it would be easy. Let's see. Painting your parts with Rust-Oleum Farm Implement red color spray paint. Looks great, but do I think it will hold up? Keeping it inside will help, but in my experience, any spray paint, especially red is the hardest color to keep looking good. Especially when it's exposed to sun, it tends to get that pinkish faded color, kind of a chalky pink. But since you're keeping it inside, I mean, it'll probably hold for for a good time. But if it were something that you're going to have outside a lot, and going to do stuff like that at shows, I'd be leery on using spray paint just because it, like Jason said, it pinks out. Red is the hardest color, man. It really is. Hey, Dave, welcome. Good to see you. I'd prefer a new aftermarket core versus servicing the original. Yeah, I mean, depending on where you get it from, but most places for the earlier international stuff, all the cores and all those parts are coming from the same place. It is what it is. I mean, I think I got the core for my F20, which fit perfect. I got it from the Fordson house. So if you're looking for a good quality core, check out the Fordson house. They have really great stuff. PPG with a clear coat lasts forever. Yeah, sometimes the single stage stuff isn't compatible with clear coat though, so that's something you got to watch out for. I thought about using base clear on the tin work for the H, but I don't want to run into some matching issues, and I'd have to double check the compatibility between the single stage and putting a clear coat over the top, because I've heard there's some incompatibilities there on some types of paints. So am I clear coating? If so, would I put clear over the decals? If I do clear coat it, it will have clear over the decals. Yep. Yeah, wagons, I suppose. Well, is it like a running gear with a hay rack on it, or is it like a a gravity box or something like that that you painted that, you know. Base coat, clear coat, automotive would be fine. Well, single stage paint is different than base coat, clear coat type paint, though, in my understanding. I'm not a paint expert, but there's something, apparently there's something different with paint that you would use with a clear coat versus um, single stage. So sometimes, from what I've read, some single stage paints don't mesh well with clear coat. They have some type of reaction and it causes the paint to turn to crap, basically. Have I ever been to the New York State show, Pageant of Steam? No, but I've heard good things about it. That's a long ways to go for me, being in Minnesota. That's a long ways to go. I rarely get out of Minnesota, let alone, you know, go all the way to New York. I'd love to go to New York, but Hyatt's here. What's up, Hyatt? Flare box wagon that you painted. What color did you paint it? Yeah, radiator and hydraulic seals are next. Well, have fun with the radiator. I hate that's probably one of the only designs I hate about the Internationals is how the radiators are installed in the front pedestal in the bolster. Since half of your hydraulic dipstick broke in half, could that cause problems? Uh, I would say it's unlikely that it was sucked up into the pump pickup inside, but I mean, it's possible. Oh, you did paint it red with rattle cans. Well, what brand of rattle can paint did you use? Yeah, I've heard pretty good things about Van Sickle. Brent says the radiator core from Glenn will be an American-made core. He doesn't use junk. That's good. I think after this whole coronavirus thing is done, it's going to be a rude awakening as to why we should have a lot of things manufactured here and not overseas. I think you're going to see a lot of change coming. Glenn owns Hermantown Radiator. That's where we're going to have the radiator done for the H. Squatch 253, he uses Glenn as well. So got to that Fleet Farm. I'm not sure what brand it would be then. I know I've seen tons of, different brands at Fleet Farm, but no, the paint on the SC, we did that in 2008, so it's already been 12 years, but it usually sits in the garage, other than at shows, but it's been outside all winter, and I looked under the tarp just the other day and it looks great. So trust me, I don't want it to be outside, but my wife needs a spot in the garage, and the H has been taking up the spot where the Case SC has been sitting. So hopefully we can get a shed built here this spring, and then most of this stuff will go in the shed, and the H and the Case will be right here in the garage next to my wife's vehicle. So but more than likely I'll use the PPG single stage Omni paint. It's a urethane paint. It works really well. It covers great. I've had real good looks or real good luck with it. So now the SC has, it looks great. I mean, it does have a few scratches. It's been, we use it. So, we brought it to Plow Day. Hey, Domino's here. What up, man? For those of you who have heard me talk about Domino a lot and all the help that he's given, he just checked into the chat. So everybody say hi to Domino because he's actually the one that painted the case for me. So that's the reason it looks so good. So Domino could tell you a lot more about paint, though. He knows he knows a lot about paint, a lot more than I do. So maybe he could answer the question about putting clear coat over single stage paint. I don't know. I've heard that you can on some single stage, and I've heard that you can't. So of all the makes of tractors I have, which is my favorite to work on? Yeah, Domino has the B with the loader and the belly mower on it. Which is my favorite to work on? I guess it's a hard question to answer because I like working on different brands because I like learning new things about how they engineered stuff. So um, I think the D, I think that's going to be one of my favorites just because everything is so massive inside there. I mean, that John Deere D is a 501 cubic inch 2-cylinder. So you can only imagine how big the pistons are in there. I mean, coffee cans, literally. When you take a whole tractor to a paint shop, do they paint the entire tractor without taking anything apart? Usually. Usually they'll take the tins and stuff off, but everything else just gets painted as an entire assembly, and then they paint the tins separately, and everything goes back on. But this tractor is going to be painted piece by piece, so let's see. I got to catch up here. Rodney, hey, how you doing? Welcome. Is Hollis watching? Oh, I'm sorry. I got you confused with somebody else. You guys sent packages at the same time, so it was easy to confuse that. But how's everything out your way, Rodney? Yeah, Craig, the radiators out that way are, from what you said, they fit perfect. But what I hate about installing them is the studs that go down through the bolster. It's a pain in the butt. Domino can attest to this because we actually had to make a tool when we were putting the radiator back into the M. We actually had to make a spring compressor because we could not get the nuts started without getting those springs compressed. If a guy was smart, he would make longer studs so that it had more threads on it, so that you could start the nut with the spring loose, and then as you tighten the nut, it would compress the spring, if a guy was smart. How did I end up acquiring the John Deere D? A friend of mine actually on Facebook, he he had the John Deere sitting in his back lot for years, and he asked if I'd be interested in it, and I said, yeah, I am very interested because it is a 1928, and it's kind of one of my bucket list tractors. A pre 1930 Model D is one of my bucket list tractors. Am I doing the Nora? I don't know what that means. Jason, can you help me out? What's up, Minnesota? Oliver and Deere, what's going on, buddy? The H will be painted normal Farmall red. I thought about doing like a candy apple red, but that's a 3-stage paint, and it's going to be a whole lot of money to do something like that. So I'm not going to do that. It'll just be a hopefully real nice paint job, just a regular Farmall red. Nick, what's going on? Good to see you, bud. Glad you can make it. What about that H from last weekend? Oh boy, I knew somebody was going to ask about that. I'm just trying to catch up here. Going crazy in the house? Yeah, I'm going crazy because everything's off at Sandblast, and we're waiting. It's just a waiting game at this point. But used the Little Genius plow today. We won't be plowing for quite some time. Our ground is still frozen solid except for the top couple inches. So, other than the D, what are my other bucket list tractors? I'd really like, someday when I'm wealthy and this YouTube channel has made me millions of dollars, I'd really like to get a large prairie tractor, something like an old Minneapolis threshing company tractor or Rumley oil pull, something like that. I'd really love to have. And then I'd ultimately, I think it'd be really cool to have a small steam tractor. So, but that's a whole nother level of money. You're talking $30,000 to $60,000 just to purchase a steam tractor or a large prairie tractor. So, if not more, I've seen them sell for over $100,000. Miss Southern Belle, how you doing? Welcome. Welcome to the live stream, the tractor chat, tractor talk as we call it. A 12 horsepower steamer for 30 grand, that ain't too bad. I mean, usually the smaller they are, the more expensive they are because they're easier to haul and easier to store. On the contrary, the really large ones are rare, so they're worth a lot of money too. But those mid-range ones, I'm going to call between the 20 and probably 65 horsepower range. They're usually, your average of $30,000 to $60,000 for a running machine. What crops am I planning to plow for? Well, I don't own a farm, but Connor at This Old Farm, he usually plants corn and I think he does winter wheat and some other stuff too, but I couldn't tell you. You'd have to ask Connor at his farm, and we usually do a plow day there every spring. So if you haven't checked out his channel, it's This Old Farm. But for those of you that did see the the photo of the Farmall H that I put on the community page on my channel, a friend of mine, his dad owns a construction company, and he buys and sells houses, and fixes them up, flips them on the side, in addition to his construction company. And he bought this place not too far from me. It's on about 10 acres. And he says, "Hey, there's a couple old tractors out here. If why don't you come out and take a look at them? If you want them, you can have them." So I went out and took a look at them. The one is an H. It's rough. Motor's stuck. It's missing one of the front wheels, missing the seats, missing the manifold and carburetor, missing the hood. He it's missing a lot of parts, and it needs a lot of work. Even the transmission shifter barely moves. So inside the transmission has probably been full of water for a long time. So I mean, it'd be a good parts tractor or something fun to tear apart and see if we can get running with minimal money, But I told him I'd definitely be interested in that H. And then he's also got an Alice WD power unit that is hooked to a really large meat grinder that he used. Actually, the guy that used to live in the house that passed away, he raised exotic cats, and he had lions and tigers and cougars and all kinds of exotic cats, and he would get roadkill and grind it up in this big meat grinder, and that's what he would feed to these animals. So, and he asked if I wanted that Alice power unit as well. It's locked up too, but I just don't have any use for it. So, nor do I have anywhere to keep it. I mean, I don't really have. I can't have a junkyard laying around here. I'm still in city limits, so when the city inspector drives by, he could already get after me for having all the tractors I got. So. Connor is probably helping at the farm, would be my guess. Him and his dad are probably getting stuff ready for spring planting. Yeah, I doubt that Domino is going to be able to travel um, to do any paint work. And yeah, he just chimed in with that. He had a head injury. If a lot of you remember, a few years ago, we actually did a GoFundMe for him to help raise a little bit of money because he was out of work and still out of work because of this injury. And yeah, it's a pretty crappy deal that he's been going through. Him and his family have been going through, but he hasn't really done much of any shop work ever since then. So, how much for the WD power unit? I don't know. If I don't take it, he's going to take it to scrap. So if you wanted it, I could get it, and I would. He will give it to me, but he will not give it to anybody else. So, um, I could negotiate a price with him, and then you could pay me for it if you're interested in it. But I'm sure if you gave him scrap price for it, $100 or whatever, $150. From what I understand, that Alice power unit's a rare engine. So, can I talk about how tractor companies use military paint in their color schemes? In a nutshell, Case and I think International did it. I don't know. Maybe Broken Wrench can chime in on this, but I know that Case did it for sure. There's a lot of companies that bought surplus paint from the military, and that's what they use to paint their tractors. A lot of times, in the 20s and 30s, you saw a lot of tractors that were painted kind of that battleship gray color. Well, that's because the tractor companies bought surplus paint from the military to paint their tractors with because it was cheap. So in order to help keep costs down, to pass that on to the farmers, the low cost of tractors, they use surplus paint to paint them. And in the late 30s, the tractor market kind of fell along with the automotive market, and they started streamlining the tin work. They called them stylized tractors, and they started using different colors to help, I guess, individualize the tractors and make them more appealing aesthetically to farmers because times were changing. So they needed to kind of keep up with the automotive industry. Well, Brent, I can get it. If you want it, I can get it from them. So right now, they're both froze in about 18 inches, 12 to 18 inches down into the mud. So when the frost comes out, then we're going to be getting that stuff out of there. And I don't know. I'll have to talk to him about the money. You know, I'm sure it won't be over, $150. I've got a couple photos of the AC power unit, but I don't have my phone with me, and you guys wouldn't be able to see it real well anyways on the screen. And I don't think I can put it in the chat, but Yeah, Minneapolis Moline. Actually, in the 30s, they painted a number of their tractors gray. Matt, what's going on? Welcome to the live feed, man. You know, we're gonna bank on an hour, but you know, if we're having a good time, maybe we'll go till 7:30. So I haven't had my dinner yet, and it's been done for almost 40 minutes. But if you guys don't mind, I'll eat my pizza in front of you. I mean, it's kind of rude to eat in front of people, but we're not really sitting together, so. Thanks for stopping by, bud. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay away from that corona. Yeah, there's a lot of tractor manufacturers that use the gray, you know. Did I see your email of the rotten Farmall H tire? No, I didn't get an email. I wonder if it's in my junk folder. Sometimes, I don't know why, but sometimes Yahoo sends stuff to my junk folder and I rarely ever check it. So, all right, give me a few seconds. I'm going to run upstairs and get the pizza. Okay. All right, we got the pizza. I got my water, and I also grabbed my phone so I can show you a picture of this Alice power unit. But I'm gonna eat my pizza first. Do I have a Louisiana license plate? No, I do not. Let's see. Yeah, Dalen, I think you mentioned that you're you have a BF Avery transition tractor. Those things are kind of neat. Actually, we were one of our club members, the person that owns the Massey 33, Pete. He he has a kind of an itch to find one of those BF Averys. Hey Domino, you want to help me build a shed? When will I post another tractor video? Well, I was just saying this at the beginning of the video. With everything that's going on right now, I'm kind of stuck. You know, with this coronavirus stuff, I got uh, I got everything for the H at Sandblast, so I'm waiting on that to come back. Um, the radiator I was supposed to drop off with Glenn at Hermantown Radiator, but he actually had to shut most of his business down because of all of this. He had to lay off his own son, so it's that's on hold right now. I'm waiting on my quart of Gliptol paint. so I can put the hydraulic pump together, because I got to put the coating on the inside of the castings because I sandblasted all the pieces. So I have to recoat the casting so that it's sealed and not porous. So I'm waiting on that to come, and I don't know how this coronavirus stuff is affecting the shipping industry. I should probably have it sometime next week, I would think, but about the only video I could make right now would be putting the new gears on the counter shaft for the transmission. But in order to do that, I have to go over to Rudy's and use his press. So I'm hoping I can put a tractor video up soon, you know. I'm just trying to get caught up on the chat here. When are the tires getting mounted? When I get the rims back from powder coat. That's another thing. The rims were supposed to be done last week, but I don't know how this shutdown is affecting the powder coat shop. You know, I haven't heard from them, and I don't want to annoy them because I mean they're donating their time, their labor, and the material to get these rims powder coated for me, and they also ceramic coated the manifold. So I don't want to be that guy that, you know, we're trying to get this project done, but I don't want to annoy people, you know, that are trying to contribute. So plus tires are a pain in the butt to mount in the cold. I don't know if you guys have ever tried, but putting cold tires on rims is a pain. So I'd like to be able to at least set them out in the sun for a few hours so they can warm up. Oh, you're going to rebuild your mower deck next weekend. Oh, okay. Well, we could do a video of that if I'm not, you know, that's the other thing, my work schedule. If our shutdown goes further, me being a corrections officer, I could be called up for all kinds of things. You know, they could put us on mandatory 12-hour shifts. They could have us working alongside the National Guard in some other places, providing some type of security. When the 35W bridge collapsed here in Minneapolis back in like 2008, I think it was 2007 or 2008, they had corrections officers doing security around the perimeter of the scene because they needed a response team. So I don't even know what my schedule is going to look like in the future, but I'm hoping everything proceeds as normal and everything, you know, this virus stuff goes away. So get this piece of pizza here. Oh, Kendrick, I'll get you a video as soon as I can, man. I know. Trust me. I want a wrench too, but I just got nothing I can do. Corona's holding everything up. Jason wants to know what type of paint I'm using on the H. I'm probably going to use the PPG single stage. It's the Omni brand or the Omni line. It's a urethane paint. It's the same paint I used on the Case SC that Domino painted for us, and it Domino can tell you it's a great paint. I mean, it covers well. It's holding the shine real well. It's durable. So that's my intention anyway. If I were smart, I would have kept the hydraulic reservoir, and I would have sandblasted it at Rudy's in his cabinet. But I put that with everything else at Sandblast. So what am I using for primer? I don't know. I was kind of hoping you were going to tell me what I should use. I can't remember what we used last time on the case. I thought, if I remember right, I thought it was a filler primer, but it sat for a few months, so I don't know if you remember what we used when we painted it or primed it, but any word on my grandpa's M? No. I left a message with him about a week and a half ago. I call him once a month. I don't hear nothing. Sucks. But I'll keep calling him. That's all I can really do, you know. I've tried talking to my uncle a little bit about it, and he kind of says it's between me and, oh, almost dropped my pizza. It's kind of between me and that other guy. I can store some tractors in your barn. Yeah, that'd be a long drive just to see them. Well, this pizza isn't tearing very well. Oh well, I got no shame left. Omni has a decent epoxy, can spray over bare metal and don't have to prime or seal. Spray the red right over it. Hi, Emily. I'm on TV. Yeah, the guy that's doing the sandblast, Bill over at Ablast, he talked to a friend of his, and he's going to let us use his shop, and I think he was going to even do the priming, but I mean, I don't know what kind of material he was planning on using. Probably whatever I tell him to use, I suppose. Well, Dalen, it sounds like you got a project on your hands. Hi, Emily. Yeah, those rear wheel bolts aren't cheap either, are they? Single stage urethane is a great paint. PPG makes their paint is good stuff, man. Let me get my phone out here. I'll show you guys this this Alice Chalmers power unit meat grinder thing. I don't know how well it's going to show up on the camera, but we'll give it a shot. See here. You guys see that? It looks pretty good. But I can't really tell if it's just sitting on top of a trailer frame or if it's actually on a trailer. But there it is. And I'll show you a couple pictures of the H that's there. It's been sitting in the same spot a long time. So there's one photo. And that tree that you see behind it is actually grown up through the hitch, and it's about probably a 15-inch diameter tree. So it's been there a while. I took a picture of the tree. Yeah, been there a while. But I already ran the serial number. It's 1944. So yeah, Domino, I really don't have a use for a power unit, and Brent here, seems to have a lot of interest in it, so we'll get a hold of it and get it over to Brent. We got enough projects, Domino. Just wait till we start on that D. Something tells me we're going to have to press the pistons out of the block. Tell Michelle I said hi. Yeah, I haven't had to cut down any trees to get any tractors yet, but it sounds like we're going to have to. Hey, Billy, how you doing? Well, my cousin has the cousin that I've been cleaning all these parts at in the steam cleaner bays and stuff at his shop down in southwest of the cities, kind of. He has a 200-ton press at his shop, so we'll just bring the block and pistons down there, and they'll come out in 30 seconds. Do I think the threshing shows will be impacted? They've already been impacted, but I mean, around here, threshing shows don't really start till August, so I'm hoping everything's cleared up by then. I do have an Ohio license plate, actually, Craig. I got the bicentennial plate, actually. Five hundred ton horizontal press, and the whatever you were working on was at chest height. Yeah, that'd be a little. I wouldn't want to stand around it. What I'm curious to see on on the LeSueur swap meet page, they said that it is not canceled the last time I checked. But with all this going on now, and I wouldn't be surprised if the president announced some type of a 14 to 30 day shutdown. If that's the case, then LeSueur is probably going to be done. Hey, thanks, Robert. Tell you what, shoot me an email. I'll put my email in the chat here, and I'll send you my shipping information. See you later, Domino. Thanks for coming by and chatting with us. I'll see you soon, I'm sure. Tomorrow's my daughter's first birthday, so but we got to have parties from a distance now. Do I have any vintage case advertisement signs hanging up? Nope. I do not. I don't really have much for signage. I got an old, it looks like a painting, but it's on a tin sign of a Farmall H. Then I've got another one that says McCormick Deering Farmall sold here. And then I've got a motorcycle sign, but that's really about it. Oh, I got the one that Jason sent me that says Ford tractor parking only. So yeah, I know. Tell me about it. She's gonna be 1 tomorrow. I'm getting old. My wife already started decorating her high chair. Yeah, I know. It's crazy how time flies, and I'm hoping my wife is on board, I think, but I'm hoping we can start trying for our second child this fall after threshing show season, of course. See you later, boss. Thanks for stopping by. I think we'll go till 7:30 just to, it seems like we have a lot of good conversation going, so. But I'm not going to extend it past 7:30. That's it. Last month we extended it, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. But yeah, it's I really wish we could get some work done. Yeah, they grow up fast, and I'll tell you what, seems like 6 months ago we were still in high school, I've already been out of high school for, geez, 16 years. Thanks, Brent. Appreciate it. Just trying to think of some cool stuff that I could put on the camera here, but I don't really have anything that, you know. Oh, one thing. I don't know if he's going to stop by, but one thing I forgot to do in my update video when I did a bunch of shout outs was I didn't give a shout out to Daniel. He made us some custom stainless steel studs, washers, and nuts for the manifold on the H. So these are high quality stainless steel. He also included a little packet of anti-seize. So when it comes time to put that manifold back on, we got brand new stainless steel studs. So a huge shout out to Daniel for that. He's a pretty good friend of mine. Lives out east, but we've known each other now for, over the internet for a number of years, and we're always giving each other crap back and forth, so it's a lot of fun. Yeah, that's true, Jeremy, but you know, the other part of that is I do get 6 weeks of paternity leave, so you know, if that baby falls right around threshing show season, see how we plan that? Yeah, I know, man. Time sure flies, and it seems like the older you get, the faster it goes. And I'm only 33, you know, so it goes fast. But you know what I noticed about getting older? It's that halfway point, you know, like when you're 2, it's only 2 years till you're 4. But when you're 40, you got another 40 years till you're 80. I mean, that's a long time. So in retrospect, when you look at that halfway point, you got a long ways to go. Granted, now from age 2 to age 80, that's a bigger, yeah, but glass half full, right? Come on. Yeah, I have a I have a couple of friends that had babies during deer season. They still went hunting. Well, that's good to know. Good piece of probably lesser known knowledge. Appreciate that. Manifold nuts on an H&M were a 19/32 or a 15 mil. Well, when you have them custom made, you can make them any size you want. How do you get to my link for the H project? Are you talking about the GoFundMe? I'll put it right in the chat right now if you want. Look, copy paste here. So there's the link to the GoFundMe um, for the project. But if you want a link to the playlist for the videos for the project, you could just go to my channel and then click on playlists. Oh, look at that! Squatch just uploaded another video. Cool. I'll have to watch that later. But if you go to my playlists, you can just click on the Farmall H saga. Yeah, well, here's a link to episode 1 of the whole Farmall H saga. So, yeah, time sure does fly. But that's life, you know, that's life. That's how it is. Oof. I need to start getting better chairs to sit on. Yeah, I need to get a shed. I need a shed, man. Yeah, Squatch, he does some real, um, not only are they great educational instructional videos, but the quality of his restorations are bar none. You won't find a better quality. I can almost guarantee it. let's see, gives me something to strive for. I wish I could dedicate the amount of time that Squatch does to to breaking down the process and putting, every element into the videos. But with a with a 1-year-old and a full-time job and a part-time, kind of working for Rudy on the side, it's I got to take advantage of the shop time that I get when I do get it, and I try to include as much as I can in the process without without showing the stuff that is just, there's no point in showing it. I try to cut out the stuff that I see as common knowledge, but Squatch, he goes above and beyond. I mean, I've learned a ton of stuff from him, and I'll probably never even own a Caterpillar. Someday I'd like to. It'd be kind of cool, but I don't have a use for one really. But what size are the new rear tires for the H? 13/6/38. They're a little bit bigger than what's recommended, but this tractor isn't going to be, it's going to be a big time show tractor. It'll do some plowing days and stuff like that, parades, but for the most part it's a display, and people can get on it and drive it when they see it, and it's going to be something that people can connect with. It's not going to be one of those tractors that's roped off and don't let your kids touch it. No, get the kids up there and let them sit on it and play, and if it gets scratched, it gets scratched. That's part of the experience. That's why we do this. How can we expect um, these young kids and even older people? How can we expect them to get into this hobby if we don't let them experience it? Look but don't touch. What fun is that? You know. Is there a ribbon color or theme? I have a canvas seat shifter cover I want to send you. I guess I don't know what a canvas seat shifter cover is. It covers the shifter and the seat. Is that what it is? Is there a theme? Well, the suicide awareness colors are black and teal, so that's black, purple, and teal actually. But I've got some suicide awareness ribbons that are going to go on the tractor that are magnetic. Hey Jason, thanks, I appreciate that, but I guess I'm not. Maybe Billy can clarify what it is that he's talking about. That's true, Jeremy. The publicity doesn't go to his head. I just looked on his channel, he's got over 10 million views on his channel, and I'm almost at 1 million. So, I mean, for me, that's like, I never thought I'd get that many views ever. And here we are at, 950 some thousand views, and it's amazing. I've had people come up to me and want to take a picture with me at a show, and it's like, I'm just a guy. I don't know what, but I mean, of course I'll take a picture with you, but I don't. I guess I never understood it. But Squatch, he's definitely a level above everybody that I've ever watched on YouTube. How many of my YouTube friends and fans live in close proximity to me? You should be able to shed building weekend. Not that many. Squatch is probably about an hour and a half from me, and Connor, he lives fairly close, half an hour or so, but with school and everything, it's tough to line things up, especially with my schedule. I rotate days off, so. Patch of Heaven Farm, yeah, you can drive it. Come on out. You see it at a show, man. You find me, we'll take it for a drive. That's the whole point of this. I just don't want people jumping on it and taking it, you know. I'll come by, and then this tractor that everybody's poured their money into and heart and soul, you know, actually that happened at Now Then last year. We had a tractor that was stolen. So it's one of those things you got to watch out for. But it ended up being a family thing that, you know, somebody was upset that it was sold to somebody else, and a younger guy came and he actually stole it. That was part of this family deal. But anyways, it wasn't like just some random person. It was they knew what it was and who had it. And hey, Robert, I appreciate that, man. I try to keep things honest, and I try to keep things as clean as possible because I know there's a lot of young people that watch the channel as well. So it's very rare that I swear. Occasionally, sometimes it slips, but trying to get caught up here. Hans makes it work. What's going on? Welcome. Glad you could make it to the live stream. Yeah, I mean, the people that have the look but don't touch signs, they have every right to do that, but it breaks my heart because you got these kids that want to get up on these things and play and flip levers and do stuff and see how stuff works, but it kind of rains on the parade when they do that, you know. But they have every right to, you know, these restorations are not cheap, so I can understand it, you know. Hey, that'd be pretty cool, man. I mean, if Billy, if you want to send it, I'd be more than happy to use it, and definitely, you know, it's any donations towards this project are very much appreciated. So, you know, it'll go on the tractor or on the seat and shifter when it's at shows to keep the rain and stuff out. You know, the tractor's going to be stored in the garage here, and when I do finally get a shop built, it'll be stored in the shop. But it's yeah, that we I mean, everything is appreciated. Everything you see here is because of everybody on this channel. It's not because of me. I mean, we've all done this. This is our project, you know. Hyatt, he's been a great contributor to this project, and I can't thank him enough. But there are so many people that have donated either parts or Richard at Old Farm Junk 101. He's been an awesome contributor as well. He's helped out a lot with parts, and um, it's I can't thank you guys enough. You know, this whole thing it's amazing. You know, and I've had people contact me through Facebook that aren't even into tractors, and they see what I'm doing, and they've messaged me saying, "Hey, man, just want you to know that I've thought about taking my own life, and you know, what you're doing or what we are doing is a great thing." So we are changing lives, man. We're making an impact on people, and we're doing it with old tractors. You know, that's the cool part. Trying to get caught up again. All right, Matt. Enjoy, man. Stay safe, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Yeah, I mean, I get that. Patch of Heaven Farms. You know, you don't want to step on anybody else's toes just getting up on tractors that aren't yours. But if you see my name and signs on them, feel free to get up on it, sit down, and relax. You know, I'd prefer people didn't drive it unless I was there. You know, no matter what tractor I got, because I've let people drive all of my tractors, but I would prefer that I'm there because if something happens, it's going to be a bad day. I'd hate to see somebody get run over or flip a tractor or just get injured in any way. I want to be able to supervise, and teach them how they operate. So, yeah, absolutely, Billy. Send them on over. But yeah, I mean this project has been awesome. I've and just so you guys know, I mean if you haven't already figured out just by watching the videos, I've never done any transmission work other than on the John Deere A, and it was very limited. Um, this, I mean, this is an entire nut and bolt restoration. The only thing that I have not disassembled is the differential and ring gear. That's the only thing I haven't pulled nuts and bolts out of. Everything else has been pulled apart. So, and there's no reason to because it looks and operates perfectly. So, actually, Jeremy, he knows the gentleman I got the D from, but yeah. So you come on down, or if I get it up to a show in your area and you see it there, man, we'll go for a ride. What tractor do I have designated to my daughter? Um, at this point, it's whatever she wants. I mean, one of the conversations I'm going to have with my kids when they're old enough to understand is no matter what, I don't want anything to happen to that Case tractor because that was my grandpa's and that was, that's got the most sentimental value for me. So I don't want that to, get sold in an auction when I have to kick the bucket and, I could care less what they do with me, but they better not do anything drastic with the tractor. But whatever she wants to, and if she doesn't take any interest in it, then that's fine. But it can be just something I do on my own. But I hope, I hope that my kids do. So would I consider restoring a Case cross motor down the road? I'd love to if I had the money. Cross motors they're a spendy tractor to restore. Nothing, very little, if anything, is made for them anymore. I think there's one place that casts new manifolds for them, but they're not cheap. I mean, I think the new manifolds are over $1,000 just for a manifold. So most everything you got to have machined and remade, and they're a very unique tractor. So yeah, Rolog 2024. That's the green feature. So if it's up and going by then, we'll see. I'm hoping I can have it running, next year. But I don't know. This block, the replacement block that I got, might need to be sleeved. So that's going to be some money, man. You know how much machine work costs. Yeah, I hope. Keep the SC in the family. I hope. It's all a guy can do is hope. Is it worth it to get fenders for your H? Well, we got them for this H when I picked up the correct fenders from Beaver's Tractor Salvage up in Barnesville. Um, I picked up the H fenders at the same time. So one of your 7 daughters, Cheyenne, wants all of them. Yeah, well, that's not a bad thing, though. At least you know that they want them. Yeah, taking the loaders off can be difficult, but I'll tell you what, man, it sure makes working on these things a lot easier. But these old loaders, yeah, I mean, yours, I don't know what a Dual 325 is as far as, I mean, is it a hydraulic dump and everything, or is it a trip lever? I don't know anything about the Dual, but yeah, I don't know if Squatch would want to go live or not. He, uh, he mentioned recently in one of his videos that he's pretty shy, so I don't know if he would ever do that. And I think he likes to organize his stuff, his content to the best informational and educational type videos that he can. So I don't know if he would do that or not. But those loaders, yeah, I mean it's a shot in the dark what you're going to get for them used. You know, I think the loader that I got for the M, and I really wanted that loader because it's the same loader that was on my grandpa's M. Um, I think I paid like $300 for it, and I rebuilt the cylinders, and that only cost me like $50 for new leathers and seals for the cylinders. So I mean, I got 350 bucks into the loader, but it is a trip lever loader. It's not a hydraulic dump. Your boy started out with an H, and he was raking hay at 7 on a Super C. Yeah, that's that's ambition, man. I think you created another tractor addict there. I'm hoping my kids are into it, you know. But you just gotta let them explore and let their curiosity run wild and ask questions and answer their questions and let them get their hands dirty and play with stuff. Where's a good place to look for a rebuild kit for the cylinders? You talking hydraulic cylinders, Dave? Well, you should be able to get a few $100 for an all hydraulic loader. I mean, they're pretty handy, so. But hydraulic cylinder seals, especially for the older stuff, I usually just take the cylinders out and I bring them to a hydraulic shop, and they can usually cut, the leather cups and seals and order whatever you need. So I think I use like um, Central Hydraulic or something in Rogers, Minnesota. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a hydraulic shop in Rogers, Minnesota, and I brought the cylinders and the rods and everything to them, and they said, "Oh yeah, we can." They cut the new seals for them in 10 minutes, and I was out the door. So was that a number 30 loader I got for my M? No, I got a farmhand standard loader. It's very simple. It's a pipe loader, just the round pipes for the frame. And check out some of my YouTube videos, man. You'll see it on there. I think I just posted one, first 2020 snow plowing video. I was plowing snow with it, so. Hydraulic cylinders are very simple fix, generally. I mean, there ain't much to them. Did I get an estimate on the radiator work? Actually, we were talking about this earlier, but the radiator work is going to be donated by uh, a guy named Glenn. He owns Hermantown Radiator up in Hermantown, Minnesota, and he does all of Squatch's radiators. And Squatch actually sent me to him, so I told him about the project, and we talked about it, and we were supposed to meet on Saturday, and I was going to give him the radiator to go through it, but um, you know, with all this coronavirus stuff, he had to shut his shop almost all the way down, and he actually had to lay off his own son because this virus crap is, you know, is hurting a lot of people. So, but when he does get started back up, he's still more than willing to do the work. And I told him, hey man, if you know, if you need me to pay for the radiator, I'll figure out a way to pay for it. You know, you have a business to run, you have a family to feed, so you know, if I understand when circumstances change, you know, so we'll just have to figure out how to get it done one way or another because I don't feel comfortable putting it back in the tractor the way it is. Not when everything else is going to be brand new, you know. Why do that? That don't make no sense. But well, we're a minute over. What do you think? I said we're not going to extend it again, but see, now you guys are twisting my arm here already. If I extend it, I'm going to 7:45, and that's it. I'm not going any longer, just because I told my wife we're going to have a movie night. So in the video where I said I'm hunting for Sasquatch, was that on my property behind my house? Yep, sure was. Don't forget to hit the like button. Yeah, there you go, Jeremy. Like, comment, rate, subscribe, that whole shebang, right? I never understood the rate thing. Like, how do you rate the channel? Is there a rating button? I mean, I know there's a like button, but subscribe. Yes, you are correct, Broken Wrench. International did make a high pressure spring for the lift all pump. I've also heard that you can just shim that spring with a couple washers and it pretty much does the same thing, but wow, Brent, that's very generous of you, sir. Very generous. I have no idea how much this radiator is going to cost to fix, but I did send him a couple pictures of it and he said it looks really nice, so hopefully that means, you know, if anything, it might need a new core, but I know the bottom tank on it has a dent, and it looks like one of the areas was previously fixed with some solder. So, you know, I'm sure it needs a little work. Yeah, I can send the link for the Sasquatch video. YouTube. Just have to find it here. I can't believe I made that video. I was bored. I don't know what the likes do. I know when people like the videos, they get added into a playlist for them. I think, you know, it's like a liked videos playlist so that they can, you know, if they want to see it again, they can easily refer back to it. But I'm not sure what year they went from 450 to 750 psi. Maybe Broken Wrench can answer that, but I'm not sure what year they upgraded the pumps. Hey, Rudy's here from Rebuilt Mags. Everybody say hi to Rudy. You ever need any magneto work or carburetor work, you send your carbs and mags over to Rudy, and you might get lucky enough to have something done by the man himself. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. This coronavirus stuff, I'm still kind of on the fence with it. I mean, obviously it's a very real thing, but on the same side, on the same or on the opposite end side of the token, it's like there's a lot of weird stuff that's happening between. We're not going to get into politics, but that's a whole nother thing. This is tractor chat, so yeah. I hope this stuff is over with shortly because I can't take it anymore. But the man, the myth, the legend, Rudy is in the house, people. If you haven't been to his channel either, you got to check his channel out. He goes through a lot of the usually it's the rarer mags that he does, and man, I'll tell you, the work that Rudy does is amazing. I've seen, some magnetos that you probably only see a couple times in your life, if you're lucky. But Rudy's a genius. He's got more knowledge in his finger than I got in my whole body when it comes to magnetos. So two of the four H4 mags are sold. Man, guess that means I got to put two more together. Yeah, I hope all these shows aren't canceled. Because Rudy, he usually goes to LeSueur as well, and we'll see what happens with that. I'm not sure. Usually Rudy has a booth at LeSueur, and that's like the 24th or something of April, I think. 24th through the 27th or something like that. 24th through the 26th of April. Yeah, Hyatt, what the heck? You better jump on the train here and get a YouTube channel. Dang, man, my butt is hurting from this chair. Oh, just going to have to squat for a minute. I should have really invested in a better stool. Oh, oh. Greater Minnesota two-cylinder is supposed to be the first weekend in May. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably questionable. Yeah, that one isn't very comfortable either, Jason. This one's at least got a pad on it. That one don't have any pad. Actually, that one, if you look, that right here, that seat was the seat that was on the Case SC when my grandpa had it. So it's a very special seat. Yeah, I hope LeSueur isn't canceled. That would be a crappy deal. But man, there's so many parts scattered around here. Wish I could put some of it back together. but I can't yet, so it'll go. It'll get there. Yeah, I got the original steering wheel from the Case SC on the garage too, on the wall. I'll show you. Oh, it is right up there. So, and I'm actually, this is the Minneapolis Moline fuel tank that I'm using for my computer stand here. But this one is in really, really bad shape. It looks like somebody shot it with a bunch of bird shot. Yeah, I would agree, Rudy. It's better to, keep this, whatever this virus is, from spreading than to, we can always reschedule it, you know. Did I do sleeves in the F20? No. The sleeves actually honed up really nice. They were only dry stuck, so I pounded. Well, I didn't really pound. I, tapped the old pistons out, and then I had my parts F20 with good pistons and rings in it. So I pulled those out and just put them into the original block and bored it, or not bored it, honed it, and yeah, that was it. We got lucky with that one. It does need some governor work, and I do have to take the carburetor off the F20 and bring it over to Rudy's and give it the old Rudy treatment, or I guess the Kizzle treatment, because I do a lot of the carburetors for Rudy, but he's the genius, though. Whenever I get stuck, he's the guy I ask. Do I know anybody with a Waterloo boy? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. The F20 has standard pistons in it. Yeah, Gary's got one, and then a friend of mine, Glenn, he's got one as well. He's got a Spolker D. He's got a lot of very rare tractors. So does Gary. Gary Beaver, he's got, geez, I don't even know how many tractors his family has. They're the ones that own Beaver's Tractor Salvage in Barnesville, Minnesota. And just to go to their salvage yard is cool. I mean, it's huge. And some of the stuff they have is really rare. But um, yeah, Glenn, he doesn't live too far from me, actually. Um, Glenn Westfall, he's always at the local shows here. He goes all over the place in the Midwest. I mean, he hits a few national shows as well, but he's got a Waterloo boy. Actually, if you watch my roll log videos from this year, Glenn let me drive his. I think it's a Case 2040. I think it's like, I want to say it's a 1917 Case 2040. It's a big prairie tractor, and he let me drive that. So yeah, those manifold covers are pretty hard to find in good shape too. So that's a good piece to hang on to. Yeah, a lot of times you know those guys they know what they got and they don't want to part with it, man. Yeah, there's a guy 2 miles down the road from me that he has 2 or 3 steam engines, and he's got a bunch of classic and rare tractors as well. That's Sean, my friend Sean. And I didn't even know he lived right down the road. You know, if if I would have known when I moved out here that he lived right down the road, I could have helped him with those steam engines, and I could have had some really cool videos, you know. But yeah, he redid a K65, and I think right now, I don't know if they're currently working on it, but I know there's one in his shop, but I don't remember what brand. I want to say it's maybe a Russell, but I can't remember. Overtime tractors and Waterloo Boy tractors were essentially the same. Yep, they're actually, Hyatt, I'm gonna send you a video here. You're gonna enjoy this. It's a little bit older, but you will enjoy this video. Feel free, anybody, if you want, to watch a cool John Deere history video. Check that one out. Overtime tractors were essentially the ones that were imported into England. So, geez, Dave knows Mr. Steiner himself. Jeez. Oh, okay. Harriet Severson. He lives down by you. He does the big 4 tractors, I believe. But we're 3 minutes over here, guys. 2 minutes over. So I don't want to be raining on the parade, but okay, Harriet is Alan's wife. Oh, Nick, you're a Severson? Wow, okay. Well, why didn't you say something when we met? Can't keep those things a secret. I met Nick actually in Andover when we were out there for the 150 unveil, hanging out with Corey Anderson and everything. Man, was that a fun weekend. And it's a cool drive. If you ever get the chance to go out to the Andover, South Dakota show, definitely check out that show. It's a small show, but there's a lot of steam engines and they got plenty of room to plow out there. So that's cool, Nick. That's cool, man. If you guys haven't checked out Nick's channel, do that as well. Nick's Steam Toys and More. Check out his channel. A lot of cool stuff there. But for those of you that have been talking about getting a hold of me, I'm going to put my email address here because I gotta go hang out with my wife. Feel free to send me an email, and we'll talk more. And you know, I may not email you back right away, but I'll email you back. I'm really good at getting back to people, so might be a day or two before I can get back to you. All right. Well, that's it, boys. I'm out of here, and you guys all take care, stay safe, and stay the heck away from this coronavirus. But Brent, get a hold of me on that WD, and we'll figure something out on it. And everybody else, you take care. See you later, and I hope I can bring you some wrenching soon. So, but that's it. I'm hitting the stop button. 3, 2, 1. Pew! Oh, that didn't work. Let's try it again.